Alright, let's get started with having a look at the interface of the 3D Tiny House Designer. This is the first screen that you will see when you launch the designer for the first time. And here you can create a new design or load a design. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new design because we haven't created anything yet. And this will give you the option to create a new design from scratch. So this will show you the empty trailer here, so you can create a completely new design that is brand new, and you can use our tools to just create a unique design that suits your unique lifestyle. Or you can choose one of our preset designs, which are a great starting point if you like one of the designs that you've seen online from us and you want to modify them to make them suit your needs. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that for this tutorial and show you what it takes to modify an existing design. And this will teach you the basic tools to then be able to create your own design if you wish, or modify another design. So I'm gonna click on the preset design here. And this will show us the window of choosing our measurement system. The 3D Tiny House Designer works in the metric and imperial system, and each of our templates are optimized to both of these standards. So if you're using metric templates, they will be useful for the metric system. So for example, the trailer sizes are designed to the standards, let's say in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, while the imperial sizes will work well in the US and Canada. So I'm going to choose the metric system. Of course, if you're using the imperial system, you can follow along by just creating a template in the imperial system and just following along the tutorial that way. And these are our preset designs. You can choose from 10 different presets at the moment. We might change that at some point. And we have designed different tiny houses at different sizes that will suit different lifestyles. So for example, we've got a very small one like the tiny house, and we have bigger ones like the Alto or the Petite Maison, which will be great for a family. For this tutorial, I am going to choose the Nordic house, which is a tiny house for 2 people. And I would recommend you following along using the Nordic house as well, so you can follow along the exact same steps that I'm doing, so you can learn as you go. And I'm just going to give the Nordic house a name here. Alright, of course you can put in whatever name you want to do. There we go, and this will show us the interface for the first time that you will use to design your tiny house. The interface is broken up into 4 different sections. The first section is the top bar, the second section is the toolbar, the third section is the view bar, and then we of course have the 4th section, which is the 3D interface that you will use to navigate in 3D space. To just get started, let's have a look at the top bar here. This just shows our logo. If you're a business user, you can actually have your own logo in here. And this shows the current license that you're on. Of course, I have just created this account, so I'm on a trial. If you're on a full personal plan, this will show personal. If you are on the business plan, this will show business. This up here shows what the name of your design is. And this button here prompts you to unlock all of the features if you are currently not on a paid plan. This button, I will come back to this later in the end of the tutorial, is the Generate Plans button, which will allow you to create your tiny house plans with just one click. This is a link to the Learn Center that I showed at the start of the tutorial, and this button here will allow you to save your design. I would always recommend to save your design often, so let's say every 5 minutes, make sure to click this button right here, so this way you don't lose your progress. On the left here, we have the toolbar, and we have organized the toolbar to work the same way in which you would design a tiny house. So you would first start with defining what your trailer is, then you would think about your shell, then your roof, then adding some doors and some windows and skylights, then adding in your interior walls, your lofts or walkways or drop lofts, then adding some stairs to get up to those lofts, then adding your furniture, and then finally adding in your materials. You will also see these other 2 buttons here which are grayed out. This is the deck or terrace tool, which is part of the business version, and this is the electrical tool, which is also part of the business version. Alright, and this up here is the view bar that I mentioned before. And the view bar will allow you to toggle different layers to make it a little bit easier to design. This button here is the most important button. I use that a lot of the view bar. And this will allow you to enable and disable your exterior walls. So I'm just going to click on that to show you what that does. This button here is the enable and disable loft button. So if you click on that, it will get rid of the lofts and all of the furniture on top of the lofts. This is the tape measure tool. So this will allow you to click on a point and click on another point afterwards to then get the length of that measurement. Again, I will get back to that later. And this here is your layer toggle menu, which will allow you to toggle your selection layers. Again, I will get back to that later. This button here will allow you to toggle between the two cameras, which I will talk about in how to modify your view section. And this button here will toggle between the 2D and 3D mode. So you can go from a plan view back into a 3D view and vice versa. I will just quickly get rid of this watch beginner tutorial here, which links back to the video that you're just watching. Just below that, you will actually see callouts for the view, which I will show you also in a second when we talk about the views and how to modify the view in the 3D Tiny House Designer.